So I'll make this one will be kind of quick, at least I think so. But we have one of our new guests here, not a guest anymore, but a new team member, Nate Brown here. So I'll introduce him here in a little bit. But for those of you that may be new, the format here is we go a little bit 10 minutes of kind of motivational thought, whatever Mike was thinking about over the weekend. And then we'll go a little bit of updates, industry updates, and some training if we have anything. The industry feels very stale right now, so I'm feeling like I'm having to lean heavy on some of this motivation stuff. So to start off this week, what I was thinking about is some of you guys know I've talked about it before. I like to exercise. We were just talking about going on hikes and stuff, but one of the things that I do pretty consistently is I've been going to the gym. I like to lift weights pretty regularly, and here in Utah, if you guys know, there's a Vasa Fitness, and there used to be a small one here in Saratoga, and they opened up a new one. Anyway, I've been going there on and off. I've lived in Lehigh for almost 20 years straight, and as long as there's been this gym open, I've been going to this Vasa gym, regardless of what my fitness goals are. Periodically, I'm going back and forth to the gym. Well, I've been going there for about 12 years pretty consistently, and there's another guy that's there, and he's an older gentleman. He's probably 5 to 10 years older than me, and I usually like to go when I lift weights. I go after work, usually around 6 to 7 o'clock at night, and this guy is almost always there. In fact, I don't know why I didn't just become friends with him. If I'd have known that I would have seen this guy so many times, I probably would have just introduced myself. But one of the reasons why I haven't is because he bugs me. And the reason why he bugs me is he's there almost every single time I'm ever there. He's there when I get there. He's there when I leave. And almost never do I see him ever doing anything. So he shows up all the time. He's always just sitting on like these same 10 machines that I see him on all the time. I rarely ever see him work out. And over the course of our 12 years where I've been aware of this guy, I haven't seen him make any physical progress. And I don't mean that to be rude and this guy's actually very out of shape. You wouldn't look at this guy and say, this guy goes to the gym almost every single day for 2 hours for 12 years. So what's my point, Mike? Why are we picking on this guy at the gym, right? Well, when I go to the gym, sometimes I'll go with my kids, my teenage boys, and they're like, Dad, you go so fast, Well, I have very limited time, right? So when I show up at the gym, I want to get right to it. I want to get my workout done, and I want to get out of there. I don't have time to sit around. I don't have time to chit-chat. I used to go to Lifetime Fitness, and, Karen's brother, one of my best friends, was the mayor of Lifetime. He was extremely social. He would love to go talk to everybody. I don't want to do that. I want to just get in there. I want to get done. I want to get out, right? So every time I see this guy, when I go to the gym, I think about why are you even here? Why are you not maximizing your time? And it reminds me that there's a big difference in life between just showing up and maxing out, okay? And we've heard about this. Like when any of us want to go work out, when we want to get in shape, sometimes it's easy to just kind of check the box and be there. But the effort that we put in over time makes a huge difference, right? And so I think that happens a lot of times in our lives, is that a lot of times we may be showing up, we may be checking the boxes in life, but we're not engaged. We're not actually putting in the effort that it takes to make a real big difference over time. And you guys have seen this graphic. In fact, I've shown it before, and I kind of like this graphic, and I kind of think it's like one of those, mental health kind of excuse type things where it's like, yeah, it's okay to just, not really make a big impact occasionally. So people think like, you got to be dialed in 100% every single day, max effort, like Deadpool would say, maximum effort every single day. But truthfully, you don't have it every day, right? At work, maybe in your relationships, if you're trying to exercise, and sometimes it's okay to just show up. And there are times in our life where we're just surviving, We're just getting through. But what happens is most people, this becomes their standard, right? Where they're showing up every single day and they're putting in a low amount of effort consistently over time, and then years and decades go by and they wonder why they never made any progress. They're showing up, but the effort that they put in isn't matching what their actual goals should be or what their desires are. So I want you guys to ask yourself, does how you show up every day and the intensity that you put in match what you say you're trying to accomplish? And there are a lot of you that are trying to do certain things. Maybe you're trying to get to a certain point in your career with your business and insurance. You're trying to save a certain amount of money. You have these physical goals maybe that you want to attain, and you convince yourself that you're doing the effort and putting in the work consistently, but you're not making progress. And a lot of times I think that's because the intensity that you're putting in or your efforts throughout the day consistently are not in alignment with what you say you're going to be doing. It's very easy for a lot of us to just kind of show up at work, check the boxes, oh, I'm here, oh, I went through my work day, and when you actually go through what you were able to get done or accomplish during those 8, 10, whatever hours you worked, a lot of times it's not super productive, right? A lot of times you're in this like bottom, if you look at that graphic again, you're in that bottom tier of effort that you put in throughout the day. And some of us think that just showing up is going to make magic happen. And I promise you that it won't. Every single day is precious. And one of the things that as I've got a little bit older and as I put a lot of effort into doing certain things is the intensity of effort that you bring to whatever activity you're doing is really where the magic's going to happen. It's not in just showing up. It's how engaged you are, how much effort you're willing to put in consistently over time, how much you're willing to give to that goal. And a lot of times, guys, we just kind of convince ourselves otherwise, right? So let me ask you guys, what things do you love more than being successful? If you say, hey, I want to get to this level as an agent or with my business, or I want to make this amount of money, or I want to save this amount, or I want to have this other physical goal, or whatever it is you're trying to do, you're choosing something else instead of it, right? You're choosing watching TV on Netflix. You're choosing doom scrolling on your phone. You're choosing wasting time with whatever activities aren't in alignment with whatever you're saying you're trying to do, okay? And so ask yourself, what things are you doing that you're not willing to give up to succeed? And there's a video that I really like. I'm going to try to play this. Oh, that's what that blank screen was. I'm going to try to make sure I can play this here. Bear with me just one second. That's my favorite. So this is one of my all-time favorite videos. I don't know if you guys can hear this online. Stupid note taker. So this is Eric Thomas, also known as Hip Hop Preacher. I've shared this before. Have you guys ever seen this?
Yeah. So if you want to make 6 figures, you can't just be talking about you want to make 6 figures. You hear what I'm saying to you tonight? If you do the 3 things I tell you to do tonight, I guarantee you, whatever it is you want to do in life, you'll be able to do. You will be able to accomplish whatever you want to academically, financially, relationally, whatever. So 3 things. All right, now I'm going to tell you the story. I got to get out of here. And the story is about, you guys have probably heard about this before. It was a young man who, he wanted to make a lot of money, and so he went to this guru, right? And he told the guru, I want to be on the same level you on. And so the guru said, if you want to be on the same level I'm on, I'll meet you tomorrow at the beach at 4 a.m. He like, the beach? I said, I want to make money. I don't want to swim. Guru said, if you want to make money, I'll meet you tomorrow, 4 a.m. So the young man got there at 4 a.m. He all ready to rock and roll, got on the suit, should have wore shorts. The old man grabs his hand and said, how bad do you want to be successful? He said, real bad. He said, walk on out in the water. So he walks out into the water. Watch this. When he walks out into the water, it goes waist deep. So he's like, this guy crazy. Adrian, he's like, I want to make money. He got me out here swimming. I didn't ask to be a lifeguard. I want to make money. He got me in. So he said, come out a little further. Walked out a little further. Then he had it right around this area, the shoulder area. So this old man crazy. He's making money, but he crazy. He said, come on out a little further. Came out a little further. It was right at his mouth. My man like, I'm about to go back in here. This guy is mine. So the old man said, I thought you said you wanted to be successful. He said, I do. He said, walk a little further. He came, dropped his head in, held him down, hold him down. My man getting scratching, holding him down. I got you. I know you brushed it out, but I got you. He had him held down. I need you for an illustration. He had him held down. Just before my man was about to pass out, he raised him up. He said, I got a question for you. Somebody answered the question for me. He said, when you were underwater, what did you want to do? Lee, I'm looking for a different word though than lit. What's that word? He said, I wanted to breathe. He told the guy, he said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma in here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, you wheezing. The only thing you trying to do is get some air. You don't care about no basketball game. You don't care what's on TV. You don't care about nobody calling you. You don't care about a party. The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you've got to be willing to give up sleep. You got to be willing to work off for 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours. If you really want to be successful, some days you're going to have to stay up 3 days in a row. Because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity.
If I had to like choose all-time top 5 pieces of motivational content, I love that one. And Eric Thomas, one of my favorite guys, just because he always brings the intensity. But when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful, right? And that sounds pretty extreme, but I promise you that highly motivated, highly successful people, that's the mindset that they have. And what I wanted to highlight was that second portion of it where he was talking about all those other things that people choose instead of whatever their goals are, right? And sometimes it's just sleep. Sometimes it's just, oh, I want to sleep in. I don't want to wake up for my goals. The other day, my son, my alarm went off early in the morning, and he went and got it, and my alarm says, don't be a bitch. And my 14-year-old was like, does your alarm say, don't be a bitch? And I'm like, yeah. Because no matter what time I have to wake up in the morning, no matter what it is, if I was waking up to train for my Ironman, or if I was waking up to go on a hike with my son, or waking up to go to work, or waking up, to prepare for Monday morning sales meeting, whenever I see that on my phone, it just puts me in this mindset of like, doesn't matter what it is, that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to do whatever it takes to have success, right? To put me in that right state of mind. And so that's really what I want you guys to ask yourselves is, if you're not where you're at on your goals, if you're not heading in the right direction, what are the things that you're choosing instead of success, right? What are those things that you're not willing to give up to be successful? If you're not willing to sacrifice what you want becomes the sacrifice, right? And if that's a house, if that's, the new house that you want, if it's a lifestyle, a vacation, if you want to, take care of one of your parents, if you want to participate in some charity, if you are not willing to sacrifice for what you want, that thing you want will then become that sacrifice. And it's super profound, but I promise you that when you understand that, you're going to have to continue to sacrifice daily for the things that you want. And it's not extreme. Like when you learn how to put this effort in, when you learn how to stay engaged and you learn how to show up with energy and effort and be able to allocate those in the right direction towards your dreams, that's when the real magic's going to happen in your life. Okay. So that's what I got for you guys for motivation this week is don't sacrifice, what you want long-term for what you're currently doing. Yeah. Well, and I meant that in the best, nicest way. So trainings and updates, guys. We've got a couple more of these agency accelerator trainings and lead agency trainings that we're going to be doing. They're still on the website. Just as a quick reminder, what we're covering on those trainings is if you've been to one and it's been longer than a year, you might want to come to one of these elite agent trainings because the content does change as the industry's kind of shifting, as things are kind of updating. The next one will be here. I believe it's on the calendar. It's June 17th and 18th here in Salt Lake. And then the next one in Tampa is in August. So for the elite agent trainings, we're skipping July because July is always crazy. And again, we go over state of the industry, where you're at as an agent, what your goals are, updates on commissions and pay, which is a huge one right now, how to sell people on SUPs, and this is all kind of changing always, but virtual and local sales best practices. Couple other things, trainings, updates. Yeah, I got the dates right here for those. This would be Elite Agent Training 12, I believe, not 11. Look at this. A couple updates for the Agent Boost family. We just brought on Nate Brown. I don't know if any of you guys know Nate, but Nate's been in the industry for a long time. Nate, you want to speak loudly and introduce yourself real quickly?
Hey, everybody. Nate Brown. 26 years in the business. A lot of that was Humana. I spent some time in Veteran FMO and decided I need to up my game. So that's why I decided to come here today. It's very excited to be here.
Yep. So Nate's going to be on our agent success team. He'll be bringing on agents and agencies, and we're really excited about Nate. He's got a wealth of experience in the industry. He has a sterling reputation. Local guy, lives here in Lehigh, and so we think he's going to be. We know he's going to be a phenomenal addition to the team. So really, really excited to bring Nate on and welcome him to the Agent Boost family. So yeah, it was a big excitement and a big win. Dan and I have been really excited. Been trying to get Nate to come on board for a few years now. So excited to make that happen. A couple other things, guys. Humana transfers are now open. So some of you have been waiting. Our contracting team's already been working hard to get all those contracts processed, but we've been in blackout, or they haven't been allowing any contracting or transfers since the beginning of the year. So if you've been waiting as an agent, make sure you check with contracting, make sure you check with your agent success manager, and make sure your contract is in process. It's only going to be open until July 15th. So we've got 60 days. A couple other things, guys. Every time Humana is going to be processing contracts, they're going to be doing a look back now. So it's really important, as we keep talking about compliance and compliance terminations, you need to continue to do a great job. If you have a past history of being non-compliant with Humana in particular, they may not recontract you, okay? So again, not to beat a dead horse because we're talking, or a dead raptor, but we talk about it repeatedly. If you are not doing things by the book on compliance right now, you are in jeopardy of losing your appointments with these carriers, possibly being terminated, and it's going to be really hard over the next year or two in this industry if you start losing a few of these key carriers, okay? So please, 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 you've got to be above reproach with your compliance, right? A couple other reminders. ClearSpring has terminated. It's kind of a rare one. They dumped all of their plans mid-year, which is pretty rare. I think they're in Colorado, Illinois, and was it South Georgia? Okay. So 3 states, 12,000 members. As of June 1st, they're saying we're done. There will be, you can use an SEP, probably LCC. Is that what we would, Jordan?
CC, I mean, yep.
EOC, EOC, end of contract. So look for those. There will be some of our members affected. ClearSpring was a contract that Dan and I, we gave him the Brian Smith finger wag. We said, no, thanks. So we don't have a lot of members. We don't have any members with ClearSpring, and they are leaving. Another reminder, guys, Cigna is exiting the ACA market. So all you guys doing ACA, let's look to start helping those people early. Cigna's going to be completely out of the ACA space come the end of the year. That's about 400,000 members on these ACA plans. So all of our ACA guys, let's look to try to help some of those people early before they have to. That's what I've got, guys. Again, just not to be, like I said, not to beat a dead Raptor. Nate, just so you're in on the joke and anybody else who's new, this is a reference to Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, when they built those, the whole franchise opens with them trying to cage one of those raptors, and it hits the back of the cage and rips that guy in, and they have to put those raptors in the raptor enclosure. And I forget the guy's name, but the head, does anybody know his name? The head, Nate, the guy in charge of the Raptors, talks about how they have to electrify the fences and have them be very tall, and the Raptors continually, in a pattern, attack the fences to look for weaknesses in the defenses, right? So I like to say that a lot of times salespeople in any industry are like velociraptors. They're always attacking the fences, looking for weaknesses to exploit, right? And if you're acting like a raptor as an insurance agent, you're not being compliant, you're looking for easy enrollments, you're not being thorough, you're looking for weaknesses, you're trying to exploit things, you're going to be completely eliminated out of the industry, and you may lose your ability to ever function as an insurance agent ever again, okay? So no sales raptors. No testing, no looking for weaknesses. You got to be above board, all right? Again, guys, you're agents, you're not enrollers. We always have to be doing these basic things. Now more than ever during lock-in, you guys need to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, that you're being very, very diligent with all of your enrollments. This goes for all of you guys in the field and you guys doing it telephonically as well, okay? So I also want to remind you guys, as we start getting into this time of year and starting to prep for annual enrollment, you absolutely need to be managing your pipeline, okay? What do I mean by that? Every single person that you're talking to that you're not able to help with, you should be placing them somewhere to follow up, whether that be later in your funnel to follow up. Maybe they're turning 65. Maybe they need help during annual enrollment. Maybe they're one of these Cigna plans on ACA that once we kind of have a better lay of the land for this fall, that they need to be helped. If you guys are not pipelining and properly following up with all of these people that you're talking to throughout the day, throughout the year, you're just being bad agents and you're leaving money on the table. So please, please, please use these tools that we give you to pipeline, because as they say, the money is really in the follow-up. The money is in the management. And if you're not properly managing your book of business and your pipeline, using these tools that we provide you guys for free, you're just hurting yourselves. And like I said before, if to open with the motivational stuff, if you're not willing to do things like this to ensure your success, you just don't want it bad enough. You just don't care, right? So all sorts of resources always. I would love to know what you guys want and need training-wise. If you want to Slack me, reach out to your team leads, your success managers. Let us know what you guys need right now, what you want training on. We're rebuilding the training program right now as far as updating the calendar and our processes and how we kind of message those out through the ecosystem and through our distribution. So if there are anything that you guys want or need, please, please, please let us know. Finally, we got we still have our bonus going on for referring agents. We're also going to be doing a newly licensed class sometime in June. So if you have somebody who may not have an insurance license now, we are going to be holding that new licensing class that we were doing fairly frequently. So if you have somebody who's looking to get into the business, let us know. We can help even people outside of the state with that, even though they're not able to physically attend this licensing class. You do need to get licensed in the state you're in. So if you're outside of Utah, it's a little bit more obviously difficult to attend the Utah licensing class. But again, guys, we do have this $500 referral bonus that we're still paying out on. And this pays when an agent becomes active or they've produced any 15 policies. Okay. So I have a lot of agents that have made a lot of money with that referral bonus still available. And then we're going to have some more, we're kind of trying to figure out and align with what we're going to be doing incentive-wise and talking about trip and stuff like that for next year. Okay, so we'll have some more information on that soon. That's all I got, guys. I got to run to another meeting in Riverton, so appreciate it. Anyone have any questions or any burning comments you need to make? Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Thanks to all you guys online. I don't know if you guys saw the video, if it came through, if you could hear it, but we'll drop it in chat.